Hey, welcome to Nakama News. I'm your host, Jordan. This is my co-host, Jamie. We're bringing you the news today. First off, have you or a loved one ever had to deal with sharks in your homes? If so, good luck with that.
Also, insiders are reporting that a kind old genius man has been abducted by a prominent figure. Though we doubt the validity of this report, we are the mainstream media and will thus be presenting it as fact.
In other news, have you seen the new Den Den Mushi wristwatches? You can buy one today for the low, low price of defeating an admiral.
Yeah, nice.
Thanks for coming to the news today. This is Nakama News.
The common news, you'll see friendship when you view the common news. Well, everyone lends a helping hand or two. I'm glad you could stick around for a minute now. You're always welcome back. The common news.
All right, Goldie, we're back, buddy.
We're back!
We're
Back!
back.
It's been too long, man. It's been too
Oh
long. It's
my
good to see you,
god.
bud. This is going to be fun.
If I have one tip for anybody, any of our 14 listeners, it's never move. Just stay where you are.
Moving sucks, and we're both going through that right now.
If you think it's better, it's not. Just stay where you are. Okay. Oh my goodness.
Oh
Um,
man, we got a
but
good
no,
one.
man. I missed you. I'm so excited. This is gonna be fun. We got a good one today.
Yeah, and we had a fun, flashy, quick chapter. It's got a lot of good stuff into it. I'm excited to get in.
Yeah, chapter 1089. You're gonna have to carry the load today. I don't have a PC. I'm just purely going off phone. So, uh,
We're both in a mess, but we got this. We got this.
respectfully carry me, Father. Carry me, Father.
We're going to the cover page to start. We got a cover request by Parko with a cow serving Nami late night milk, and while she works on sea charts.
Man, these
That's weird.
yeah, these cover pages are being unhinged recently. I don't know who's writing these things. I don't know why. I don't know who thinks of that. I don't know.
I missed the stories. I really missed the cover photo stories. Those were a lot. We could talk about those a little more.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So what is this? 1089. This the siege incident or the barricading incident, right? Depending on translation.
Uh, it's called on TC Beef Scans. It's Under Siege, Chapter
Yeah.
1089.
I've seen a couple things, but yeah, either under siege or barricading. Yeah, whatever.
I didn't see
Stuff's
that one.
going on.
Stuff is going on. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
So we start with news around the world. We go to Fuchsia Village, so that's back at Luffy's hometown, and we see we see a bunch of citizens chatting, hearing news that Garp has been captured. We see one say he's not dead, right? So people know he's captured but not dead.
Yeah.
Good for Garp. We see the mayor whoop slap, and he's telling Makuno not to worry about Garp. He says he's a living legend.
Yeah.
And
I think I feel like when writers do that, they are telling you, like they're using the characters to tell you. So I think after last chapter, I don't think anyone really thought Garp was dead because you didn't see he didn't have a hole in his chest. He wasn't like announced as dead. Is MIA. He looked pretty bad. He had multiple holes. Some people thought maybe like Aokiji froze the hole closed to stop the bleeding. I don't know, but this is just more proof that Garp's not dead yet. So I'm not sure, but he's not
I'm not
dead.
sure I needed more proof, but I see where you're coming from. After that, Whoop Slap gets mad, makes Makino's baby cry. We still know it's a boy or a girl. What do you think, Jamie? I'm thinking girl because of longer hair, but I can't tell.
I'm not sure gender, but I bet you $1,000 that baby's got red hair. Okay, our boy Shanks
Oh
is the
man, that's gonna
riz
be.
king, and that's a post time skip baby, man. I tell you.
Well, we got Makino's hair is green, right? So what does red and green make?
I think it's like ugly brown, man. I'm not.
Oh
Sure.
jeez.
I shouldn't say that. I got brown hair. Oh god. I don't know, but Oda would probably give him polka dots or something. But yeah. I think I'm going on a limb. That baby's got red hair. Okay, that
Oh,
baby's got better.
all right. Write this down, guys. Write this down. Uh, Makino is comforting her baby, and the baby is happy when she sees Luffy's face. So apparently, the baby already knows
Same.
Luffy.
Yeah, Oni-chan Luffy, big bro.
And we see a little panel of Dadan worrying about Garp and Luffy too. Kind of get everywhere. We see that there was an earthquake. We see all four seas, citizens are shown just terrified of an earthquake that's going on. There's tsunamis. People are running away from tsunamis and trying to probably massively dying, but this One Piece, so somehow.
Yeah, no one dies on screen, but we assume there's massive casualties. Yeah, terrible, terrible, terrible. Yeah, and this is like 6 days after, right? They say, I think at some point in the chapter, they say this is 6 days after the Lucia incident. Yeah, it's in there.
I might have missed the 6 days part.
Yeah, which is an insane amount of days for earthquakes to travel and stuff. So, yeah, interesting. But yeah, keep going, man.
Yeah, we got the narrator coming in, and he's telling us that there's been no earthquake in recorded history that has ever been as destructive as the one that occurred that day.
What do you think about that recorded comment?
Yeah. I noted the recorded in that because that's got to be something to the voice century, right? I mean, we're definitely going to see something else. We see the only other place that's like that, Aeneas Lobby. We know nothing about it. I mean, it's got to be a reference. Oda's always careful with his word. Recorded was definitely chosen for a reason there.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I think you're right.
And we're just seeing a bunch of clips, panels of random people, and some people we see Laboon, we see Momo, we see Iceberg. Who else do we see in there?
Is that Hina? I'm not. Yeah, I don't have it in front of me, but yeah.
And then we saw like some random prisoners. Everyone's kind of saying the same stuff.
Can you imagine being an impel down in a giant earthquake? I would be scared.
That's gotta be. Oh man.
Yeah, be like, isn't this fire floor enough? Now
One
you're going to
crack,
earthquake me?
and that thing's just flooded immediately, and they're all devil fruit users.
Don't think I haven't forgiven you, goalie, for choosing impel down as like a top 5 place that you want to be at. Like
that I want to be at. I thought
it's a prison, man. It's a prison.
I heard favorite locations, not favorite vacations.
You love prisons, and that says something.
I thought it was cool. It was a really cool place. I mean, I wouldn't want to be there, but it's like an awesome design. I would still defend that.
Sure. We're putting you level 6, man. Level 6 or 7.
I'd rather be there than anywhere. Peace and quiet. All right, we got rising tides, and they're forcing civilians to higher ground. The narrator tells us that the destruction caused the sea levels to rise by a meter. Why did the sea level rise from an island being destroyed?
Yeah, I love that. Why? Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't tell if it's tsunami, sea levels risen by a meter kind of destruction stuff, or if it's permanent kind of change of a meter of like. It doesn't make sense. Like this is One Piece physics, man. Who knows? If you were,
he's definitely going to come out with a reason, though. Like,
yeah, we just chalk it up to One Piece physics, you
know. The narrator also tells us that because of everything that was going on, they couldn't locate the epicenter. They didn't know why, and so the event went unnoticed. I didn't really. What do you think about unnoticed? I didn't know that. Right?
Yeah.
Why?
I think they're just pointing out that like people don't realize that Lucia Kingdom was
because of that.
It was like a successful erasure of
the kingdom.
Yeah. So
we see someone tell Emu that we've reached the spot where the kingdom was. So, or at least it looks like someone's telling Emu that in the panel. So Emu just like went there, or do you think there's no way Emu went there himself, right?
No, I'm sure Emu's like playing with butterflies and flowers and stuff. Thinking about what country he or she wants to destroy next. So
thinking about Vivi again.
Same, man, same.
I want a Vivi update. All right, we got Lucia Kingdoms. We see it's just this giant circular waterfall. We know the narrator notes that the earthquakes. Okay, yeah, they caused the sea levels to rise. Kamabaka Kingdom's shores are now underwater, so everyone's shores are going away. Some islands are submerged entirely. We're losing islands. Do you think we lost any islands we knew?
Well, so it's interesting. Two things, right? Two things. One is we've already been introduced to the idea of like an island sinking, like Water 7. That was a big plot point. So Iceberg had been working on technology to stop Water 7 from going underwater. So two things: either I'm worried about Water 7 actually submerging, or Iceberg has kind of come up with a plan for this that maybe help other countries. I'm not sure. That's kind of cool. And
It is
then
crazy
second,
that Iceberg's invention kind of
we
came into fruition here.
we need to talk about what does that giant hole in the water look like, Goldie?
Like Annie's lobby.
And he's lobby, ding, 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 ding. And they say this man doesn't get trivia. I tell you.
Hey now. Sometimes.
Yeah, no, you have to wonder, right, if Ennie's Lobby was the example of this happening not in recorded history, like during the Void Century, if that place got absolutely toasted the same way. I mean, yeah, it seems like that's the case.
We'll find out if they start building Annie's lobby version 2.0.
Oh, look at this another judicial island. Oh, this is really cool.
Just magically to have another hole in the middle of it.
Just popped
They
up.
must all be like that.
Who put this hole here? Wow.
Yeah, that's. I hope so. I can't wait for Void Century stuff, man. That's gonna be so fun seeing that if we get any of it. We see a guy saying there's a shark in my house, which
There's a snake in my boot.
Fishing's considered suicide now. We get another panel of Whoop Slap looking concerned.
Whoop Slap.
And yeah, that's kind of the first part. What do you? Anything before we ask some questions here, Jamie?
No, I don't think so. I think, yeah, it's a good reaction shot of what's going on in the world. A lot of world building.
Fun
So
to see that. I love it when we get the world around the world shots because you
yeah,
see so many
you
characters.
can just give me
forever.
like a full chapter of people being like, "Oh my god!" Like just little
That's
cameos of people.
He does that after like every major event. I love it.
Yeah. But yeah, let's hit our intermission.
Let's we got some questions that we're gonna answer today.
Wholesome interview questions to make us feel good.
Also, I can't do trivia right now, so I could. I can't study.
Yeah, you still got those flashcards going. Yeah, you're still.
Jamie, when did you start watching One Piece, man?
Good question. It's I think it's a simple answer, and then there's a little more complicated answer, right? I started watching casually whenever those 4 Kids One Piece was coming out,
Really?
and I was watching on there, and then I was like, oh, this show's kind of cool, and I didn't know that it wasn't the real show. I just was like,
Dude,
this is what it is.
4 Kids was the worst.
But that intro rap, man,
Except for the intro, I'll give it that. I like the song.
Yeah. I mean, it was bad, right? It was bad looking, comparing it to the story, but otherwise,
The dub was just bad.
it was still cool. But then, yeah, I think like in 2011 or 12, when I was in 11th or 12th grade, you know the story. You told me where to watch it illegally, allegedly, and I didn't leave my room for a month. So, yeah, I was just on my iPad in my room in the dark. I don't think I saw my parents ever.
Dude, when you first get One Piece going, it's just, man.
What about you, man? What was your first experience, and what was the situation?
I definitely saw it on Toonami when I was about 11, I believe. And I didn't really watch it at all for another like 5 years, 4 or 5 years. And then I eventually found it online again. But I was like, yeah, this is awesome. This show, I think I caught up to, because I used to only watch dub. I wouldn't watch sub back then. So I'd only watch the dub, but the dub had cut off at Skypiea. And they were like already through Water 7 at that point, but I wouldn't do it. So I watched through Skypiea like twice. And then eventually, like another year or two later, I finally caved in. That was the first time I ever watched sub, and I don't think I would have watched it if it would. I don't think I'd be watching subbed anime if it wasn't for One Piece.
Yeah, definitely would have delayed things for you. One of my favorite memories was catching up. As I was catching up, I would go to your house and we played ping pong in your basement. And just for everyone's knowledge and edification, I'm pretty sure I won 99.9% of ping pong games. It's important to know that.
You did win a
Uh,
lot of ping pong games.
I think I beat you like 100-2 one time. Like we played to 101.
I grind my teeth on ping
But
pong.
man,
Ping pong
we
games.
would. That was the start of this podcast. Was your basement? We were talking like, man, you think Marco's gonna join the crew? Or like, man, Law's the coolest guy. You know, it's like, what do you think
What
the
we-
Will of D is? Like, we were just everything. It was so fun. We could just sit there and talk for hours. Just like, what is this? What's your favorite?
We were
devil
dead
fruit?
set on it being a smile for so long.
Oh yeah.
The will indeed.
Man. But yeah, cool. I got a question for you then.
Okay.
Why do you enjoy One Piece so much? What is it? What is it about One Piece that you like a lot?
Oh man, even if when I think back then, One Piece is just the sense of adventure is probably the biggest part. I mean, you gotta every single place is unique and interesting, and you don't know what you're gonna get. You get to learn so much about the world, and then the characters are kind of equally as deep. So I've always loved longer running shows that can actually develop good characters because then you get to stay with those characters for longer. And One Piece is
Yeah,
just the epitome of that.
yeah. No, that's yeah. One Piece, you get to spend so much time with the crew that you're so excited when good things happen to them.
Oh yeah, just the sense of adventure and the characters you get to go on the adventure with are the top of the top as far as storytelling goes to me. And I think that's kind of the core reason. Of course, there's a million reasons I love One Piece. What about you though, Jamie?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, good question by me. My God,
Yeah,
jeez.
good question to yourself.
Yeah. Wow, didn't see this question coming. Oh my God. Man, a lot of reasons, like you said. I think if I had to pick like my main one, it's the characters in the world that is created. It's a show that's good action. It's got the shonen kind of power up stuff going on. You have like really profound moments, and it's funny. Like you watch it and you're like, this is goofy fun. It's so to mix that all together and keep it going for I don't know 25, 27 years, however long it's been going.
So
That's
invested.
it's amazing. So right now it's just I'll keep saying it. I think it's the greatest story being told, and it's still going. It's a
Still
it's
going
awesome.
strong. It's hitting its peak, right? Like it's working towards its peak yet. This is
Yeah. Every chapter's been awesome. So it's been really cool. And then yeah, of course, Saturday we have Gear 5 episode coming out too on
oh
TV.
god,
So I'm
it's
excited.
gonna be amazing.
Yeah. But cool. Well, let's get back to the chapter, huh?
But yeah, enough
Enough
about that.
mushy stuff out of you, buddy.
Let's get back to it because we go back to Egghead Island now, and we see the narrator saying that Egghead Island is surrounded by Marines. They got enough firepower to put a Buster Call to shame. I got 100 ships, 20 great warships, 30,000 total Marines, 9 vice admirals, and they're led by Admiral Kizaru.
Yeah.
That's a troop. That's a troop.
And they're hiding a Gorsei in one of those ships too. Like
They are. We don't see that till a bit later, but we.
man, to put that in perspective, like that would be if we're at a Vikings game, Goldie. We're at a Vikings game, a packed game against the Packers, kicking their butt. You know what I'm saying? That would be like half the people in the stadium trying to kill us. Like that's a lot of people. And they got warships.
Yeah,
Like,
and they're
my
on
God.
warships with
Yeah.
weapons and fruits, devil fruit.
And got a dude with a freaking sun power, like a light power devil fruit. Like, yeah, like just a pure. Unless Luffy knocks everyone out with Conqueror's hockey, that's a lot of people to deal with.
Man, I hope we get to see a Gorsei fight, like legit
One
fight.
one thing I miss is remember like early One Piece, pre time skip One Piece. There was always like the fear of the Marines sinking the Straw Hats ship. Like you had to like get around, like when they escaped Alabasta or whatever.
Yeah,
Like I miss
Usopp's
that. So
constantly
I hope we
carrying
get a
your
little bit of
payload.
that. Yeah, I hope we
Usopp's
get
just.
them.
I loved it back when Usopp was like their shipwright, and so he would just like patchwork it every time. You just like see different patches on the Sunny that just look crappy. You're like,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah.
that's where Wapple bit off the side. Like,
Man, Usopp. He's a man of many trades, so you got to respect Usopp.
Okay, so we see Sentomaru, and he's having a conversation with Admiral Kizaru. Seems to be over at Den Mushi, because we see a panel what looks like an explosion, and Sentomaru gets mad at Kizaru, saying he's not supposed to touch the sea beasts. So it looks like Kizaru's just blowing him up. Um, Kizaru tells Sentomaru to surrender. Sentomaru's fat chance. There's no way that's happening. I'm liking Sentomaru more and more as the story goes
Yeah.
along.
You say Satomaru, I say Sentamaru. We're all good. Tomato,
Sentomaru.
tomato. No,
I gotta
I
go.
like. Interesting because we know Sentamaru and Kizaru have a close relationship. Like he was calling him uncle and stuff like
We still call him
Sabaody.
Uncle.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see their kind of dialogue here. And yeah, Kizaru is like, yeah, man, I have to kill you. I'm sorry. You knew too much. It's like that classic,
It's just
you knew
he's
too
so
much.
nonchalant about it too. Just no
Yeah,
feelings. Like, sorry, dude. Like, I just gotta. This is how it is.
yeah. Well, I was told I got to do this, so
We see
yeah,
a
I
lot
got
of
to do
that,
it. Yeah.
and we also see Sentomaru. Fine, I'll go with yours. Sentomaru. I think you're right because I don't remember. It's been a while since I've heard his name. But
I'm probably doing the bad American version, and you're probably doing the good Japanese version. So
no, we'll
don't
have to
say
figure that
that.
out. So Sentomaru confirms that the pacifista lasers are based on Kizaru's powers. I kind of, I think we've known that for a long time, but
Yeah,
I don't know if we've ever heard anyone say it before.
yeah. I don't know.
Um, we see a flashback panel with Sentomaru and Vegapunk, and as they're researching his powers. Kizaru notes that they don't want to break anything though, because if they did, it would be bad for the world government, and realize that CP0 must have failed in their assassination attempt. He's like, "Oh man, sorry, I gotta kill you, but like, I don't want to break anything here. So like, can you just come out here? Can you,
Yeah,
you just come out and die?"
yeah. Can you just go over in this open plot of land while we bombard you? Is that cool? We really don't want to cause any damage. So like, yeah, if you could just go over there. Uh, yeah,
Kizaru makes the least sense. It's such a fun character. And then so we get the five elder planets. The warrior god of defense science, J. Garcia Saturn. So he tells the soldiers that he's supposed to be there in secret. No one's supposed to know he's there, and they know it. We see a Morgan's article saying that the Straw Hat Pirates took Vegapunk hostage. Because of course we do.
yeah. He talked about that. If you know how many chapters ago, when we saw Vivi, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this is a great scoop. We'll say Luffy abducted Vegapunk," and that was like before it all happened. So Morgan's might be like a soothsayer. Like that dude,
He's
that
just a
dude's
Brittany.
calling it.
Oh
Yeah,
man, listen to Morgan's. Put more into what he says. That's what you're telling me. All right. We got our prediction character. Um, we see Saturn, and he asks kind of what actually happened, and a Marine says that they haven't received any word from CP0, but based on Sentamaru's resistance, they can kind of come to their own conclusions. So they think basically that he agrees that with everything that he's saying, like they
yeah.
probably
That
failed.
cipher pool failed, and yeah, who knows what's going on with him? So yeah,
He also says that uh, everyone must be up in the Labostratum, so at the top of the island, and they've probably joined forces with the Straw Hats. And yeah, CP0 probably failed. And then he also says that no one can get in or out of the Labostratum,
yeah,
and that they have no idea what's happened over the last day or so.
yeah. Because that big shield was up, so
Mm-hmm.
people were stuck in there. But yeah.
Soldier, recap it for us.
Yeah.
Saturn asks about the researchers and the lab workers, and when he's told that they evacuated a day ago, he says, "Sink them immediately in case they know something. Just killing the researchers and the lab workers." This is
Yeah, I feel like some people thought maybe Saturn was going to be like a morally somewhat gray area guy, but um, yeah, that he's going Sakazuki, Akainu kind of
yeah.
blow
I
up
mean,
everybody that's leaving the island kind of thing, you know?
anyone that knows anything. I mean, look at Robin's home island, so they obviously aren't afraid to kill anyone that has anything to do with it.
Yeah,
We need that. Um, Finally, the soldier reports that Jewelry Bonnie is on the island. Saturn calls her just a little girl and tells the soldiers to leave her be. So he's willing to spare Bonnie, and apparently she's just a little girl, but everyone else has to die.
Yeah. It's interesting because he's aware. He says something like, "That's Kuma's daughter. She's just a little girl. We don't need to use her anymore." So it's like, what are we saying here? Is she really like a 10-year-old who's like beefed herself up to a 20-year-old?
That's super interesting. It's
I
true.
kind of don't think so because we've seen the flashback panel with Kuma when he looked really young and her when she was young. So I'd be surprised because that was pre-Revolutionary Army Kuma, or at least it looked like it. So I don't think she's like a baby or like a toddler.
It could just
So
be like Gorosei doesn't care about her. Like she's just like an insect. Like I don't care what happens to her. But
yeah,
the fact that she could make herself younger, and he said little girl, was interesting.
yeah, he's a creep. I don't know.
Maybe
But
she walked into, I don't know. Maybe I thought because when she snuck into Maryjois and she like was young when she did that, right?
I think she was actually super old when she did it. She was like looking like her grandma or something. Um,
Okay,
yeah.
weird.
So we saw her as really young when she was in the whirlpool. But yeah, I think the bigger thing, like, yeah, I don't know Bonnie's age. I'm not too
Enough
worried
about
about
Bonnie.
it right now. I don't think it's super relevant at this moment, but I do think uh, him saying that we're done using her is important. So like maybe they were using her to de-age themselves, the Gorosei, or to age up Seraphim or something like that. They were definitely using her power at some point. I just don't know
Super.
what.
I
Yeah,
didn't know that you could make other people younger though. That's super interesting if they found out how to do that.
or they were doing tests on her with her lineage factor and stuff because we know Kuma's from a special race. So if she's truly the biological daughter of Kuma, she would be from a special race too. We just don't know
That's an
which one.
interesting
So
one. I like that.
yeah. There's a mystery behind it. I'm worried we're not gonna get it. I thought we were gonna. Yeah, you'll get there. Keep going. You getting frustrated.
Yeah. We get then a transmission call comes in and it's picked up by Mary Joie, but Kizaru has a soldier tell him, "Hey, you got that black wrist transponder snail. You can listen in on this." So Kizaru listens in on the phone call, and we hear York answer the call. And she starts immediately calling all of them rude. She tells them of Stella's betrayal, and then she starts trying to convince the government that she's worth helping, despite her being as much Vegapunk as Vegapunk is. York doesn't tell them anything about the Straw Hats. She says the Seraphim are under her control, and then the Elders asks if she can replicate the Mother Flame, which kind of came out of nowhere for me. I don't know about you.
Not really. I think when they used the weapon the last time when we saw them use the weapon on the Lucia Kingdom, they pointed out like if only we were able to use this freely.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I'm guessing the Mother Flame is the energy source for the weapon. It could be an ancient weapon or a knockoff. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because she says she needs the power station to do it, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So they need her to make more of that stuff because they're in the island destroying business, and business is booming. Okay.
No kidding. Hopefully this one not so much, or at least let us get away first. York says that she needs. So yeah, the next thing is York says she needs a power station, and then she demands that they leave the laboratory alone and make her a celestial drain.
Boom.
And then one more thing, and she bursts into tears and says, "The Straw Hats they're gonna kill her. Please save her."
Yeah, Luffy's gonna kill me.
Please save me. She just classic
the,
One Piece 180.
Yeah, and the Gorosei, we get like reactions from all of them. They're all like surprised. They had no clue, so they really thought things were going good when they got that call.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. They did. They were shocked. They were like, "Have we ever even seen the Gorosei shocked before?" Like,
we just see them upset. Usually, they're like, "Oh darn, the Nika fruit. Darn." Who?
I don't know why. I don't know why they're so shocked. Like,
yeah, they're kind of incompetent.
They knew he was there.
But yeah.
Yeah, and then we see one final panel, and we see Zoro's throat at York's throat. Usopp's holding the transponder snail. Everyone's eating. We got Bonnie asking if they're under siege. Vegapunk just sits there with a goofy face. And there's a note in the bottom left that's saying the grand conspiracy has been foiled and the crew's all together.
Yeah, yeah. Question mark! Exclamation mark! I don't know, man. What do you?
It's a cool panel.
Yeah, give me your thoughts. What do you think of that?
It's super interesting that they're all casual. That they're all kind of chilling. It's like the calm before the storm kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think, even Luffy's like, so we need her to just get by these people. Like classic Luffy doesn't really.
I don't really get it.
Yeah, he's like so superficial. Like, oh, okay, I guess we need her to get by. And then the panel with like Zoro holding a sword to her is so cool. Usopp, like holding the mic up to her. It reminded me of kind of that zoom out panel when the boys go to save to fight Arlong. It just was a cool looking panel.
We got Sanji in the background with pancakes or something like that.
Man, so many
this is a
things.
cool chapter.
Yeah, so many things. I mean, everyone's eating in this chapter, which gives off like Last Supper vibes or Calm Before the Storm vibes, like Sentomaru, Kizaru, Garcia Saturn, the Straw Hats, Bonnie. Everybody's eating, which is interesting.
I feel like the Straw Hats are kind of known to eat before their next big thing, though. Like Luffy always wants a bunch of food before and after, usually.
I personally feel like after you eat, you should wait at least 30 minutes to an hour before engaging in deadly combat.
Probably a good idea, but this is One Piece.
Yeah. And then, the Straw Hats, it looks like they're confident, and I think they definitely threw a wrench into the plans of the Marines and the government, but they don't know that Garcia Saturn's coming, like St. J. Garcia Saturn.
Oh, that's going to be crazy.
So I'm not sure if, I could theoretically see him getting there, taking control of the Seraphim because he's got hierarchy control over Vegapunk, and then that messes everything up again. My question to you, Goldie, is we just hit a small little time skip. Are we going to get the answers to what happens? Like,
it
Bonnie
feels
Kuma,
like it. I mean,
yeah.
It definitely feels like one of those setups where you see what happened and then we go back. Do we do it right away? Because he could definitely take it. I could definitely see him taking it the other way. If I had to bet, I would bet that we go back to where we were next chapter.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I don't think it would be great storytelling to just jump ahead to this point and then tell everything. I think the things that I need to see are the Kuma flashback. I need to know what that was. I also need to see Kuma. Where's he at? Did he get up the wall? Show me my boy. Okay.
Yeah, we could see it continue to play out, and then we get little bits and pieces as we go of what happened as we go forward. That would be kind of cool.
I hope we get like a really fast, quick flashback showing like, oh, they saved Vegapunk. Vegapunk gave a new order to the Seraphim. That changed everything. Then yeah, so that would be the quickest resolution. And then they obviously would overpower York really fast too. So I hope we get just a really quick thing and then move on immediately. Like, I don't want to spend another chapter in the past if I already know what happened.
True. I wouldn't mind that either.
Yeah.
And we got a break next week.
Yeah, break. It's not an Oda break though, so the chapter's going to get leaked early. We're going to have a chapter next week to talk about, and then we'll wait a week after that.
Heck yeah. Another chapter.
There it is, man.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. This was fun.
Yeah. Again, I can't imagine a scenario where the next chapter isn't fire. Like,
this is just an awesome recap and setup for what's going to come next. This is going to be great.
Yeah. This is good. This is good. Well, I'm just happy we're back, man. We're back.
Me too. Thank you guys for coming. This is Now Coming News. You guys have a good one.
Yeah, bye.
I'm glad you could stick around for a minute now. You're always welcome back. Now, News.